Selfie naman tayo,
Vamos!
selfie.
Grabe, ha?
Let's go. Let's
100 million people inspiring them.
go. Oh.
Grabe.
Match it.
Breaking, Alex Eala's mother collapses in tears on live TV, the devastating truth behind her daughter's shocking defeat finally exposed. Welcome back to Court Vision Plus, your #1 source for the rawest, most unfiltered tennis updates from around the globe. If you are just tuning in, I need you to stop whatever you are doing right now because what I'm about to tell you has sent shockwaves through the entire tennis world and left millions of Filipino fans absolutely devastated. Just moments ago, what was supposed to be a routine post-match press conference turned into one of the most gut-wrenching, emotionally charged moments in Philippine sports history. We have watched Alex Eala conquer the impossible. We have celebrated her historic victories. We have seen her handle defeat with grace and dignity. But what we witnessed today, nothing could have prepared us for this. Eala, the woman who has been the backbone of Alex's meteoric rise to stardom, the mother who sacrificed everything to see her daughter become the first Filipina to break into the WTA Top 50, stood before the cameras and completely broke down. Tears streaming down her face, voice trembling with emotion, she uttered words that have left the nation in absolute shock. "I'm sorry to all of you." Why would a mother who raised a champion be apologizing? What secret has the Eala family been hiding from the world? What was Alex Eala really fighting against when she stepped onto that court, and why did nobody know about it until now? Today, we are diving deep into this explosive story. We are going to uncover the hidden battle that Alex Eala was waging while millions watched her struggle, completely unaware of the invisible war being fought behind those determined eyes. This is no longer just about tennis, folks. This is about the brutal human cost of carrying a nation's dreams on your shoulders. This is about a young woman pushed to her absolute breaking point. And this is about a mother's love colliding with the merciless demands of professional sports. You absolutely need to hear every single word of this story. Let's get into it. To truly understand the magnitude of what just happened in that emotionally charged press room, we need to rewind the clock and examine the match itself. The anticipation leading up to this tournament was electric. Alex Eala, the pride of the Philippines, the teenager who conquered the U.S. Open Juniors, the rising star who has been shattering records and breaking barriers, was expected to deliver another masterclass performance. The pressure? Astronomical. Every time Alex steps onto a tennis court, she is not just representing herself. She carries the hopes and dreams of over 100 million Filipinos on her shoulders. When the match began, something immediately felt wrong. Fans who have followed Alex's career from the beginning, who have memorized every aspect of her playing style, noticed it instantly. That signature fire in her eyes, that warrior spirit that earned her the nickname the Battle of Manila, was nowhere to be found. Her usually explosive movement across the court looked heavy, labored, almost painful to watch. There was a hesitation in her swing that we had never seen before, a shadow hanging over her entire presence that was impossible to ignore. Her ground strokes, normally crisp and penetrating, were landing short. Her serve, which had been clocked at impressive speeds during her recent victories, lacked its usual pop. Her footwork, typically precise and calculated, seemed off by crucial inches. Tennis is a game of millimeters and milliseconds, and Alex was operating as if she was a step behind, trapped in slow motion while her opponent played at normal speed. As the match progressed, the situation only deteriorated. Point after point slipped away. Games that should have been competitive turned into landslides. The scoreboard told a story that nobody wanted to read. When the final point was played and the devastating loss was officially sealed, the silence in the arena was absolutely deafening. It was not just disappointment hanging in the air. It was confusion. It was disbelief. It was a collective sense that something was terribly, terribly wrong. Within seconds, social media absolutely exploded. The reactions came flooding in from every corner of the internet. What is happening to Alex? Is she injured? Why is she playing like this? This is not the Eala we know. The armchair analysts emerged from the shadows, typing furiously on their keyboards. The critics, as they always do when a champion stumbles, began sharpening their knives. They called it a choke. They questioned her mental toughness. They criticized her preparation. They suggested she was not ready for the big stage. Some even had the audacity to say she was overrated, that the hype around her was undeserved. But while the internet court of public opinion was busy passing judgment, while fans were venting their frustration and disappointment, a completely different drama was unfolding backstage. A truth was about to emerge that would silence every single critic, that would make every harsh comment look absolutely heartless, and that would reframe everything we thought we knew about what happened on that court. Just minutes ago, Eala walked into that press conference room. Under normal circumstances, Riza is the picture of strength and composure. She is the steady presence in the player's box, the calm in the storm, the rock that Alex leans on when the pressure becomes unbearable. Throughout Alex's career, Riza has handled the media with professionalism and grace, always protecting her daughter while supporting her dreams. But today was completely different. The woman who walked up to that microphone was not the composed tennis mother the world has grown accustomed to seeing. This was a mother in pain. Her eyes were visibly red and swollen. Her hands were trembling. Her voice, when she finally began to speak, was cracking with barely controlled emotion. She did not start with the usual post-match analysis. She did not discuss unforced errors or breakpoint conversions. She did not make excuses about court conditions or opponent strength. Instead, Eala looked directly into the camera lens. She looked past the reporters in the room, past the tennis officials, and spoke directly to the millions of Filipino fans who have invested their hearts and souls into her daughter's career. And then she said the words that would stop the nation in its tracks: "I'm sorry to all of you." The room went completely silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Reporters who had been shuffling papers froze. Cameras zoomed in. Everyone leaned forward, sensing that something monumental was about to be revealed. And then the explanation came, and it changed absolutely everything. According to Riza, her daughter Alex had walked onto that tennis court carrying a burden so heavy that it would have kept most professional athletes locked in their hotel rooms. She revealed that Alex had been battling what she described as a serious issue in the lead-up to the match, a critical situation that completely compromised her ability to compete at her normal level. This was not about a lack of preparation. This was not about choking under pressure. This was about a young woman fighting an invisible battle that nobody in the stands or watching at home could possibly have known about. She wanted to play, Riza sobbed, her voice breaking as the tears began to flow freely down her face. She did not want to disappoint the fans who traveled to see her. She did not want to let down the country that believes in her so much. She tried so hard to be brave, to push through, to be the champion you all expect her to be. But she was not herself out there. She could not compete with a positive mindset because the pain, the worry, the weight of what she was dealing with, it was simply too much. Let those words sink in for a moment. Eala, a teenager who has already accomplished more than most athletes dream of in a lifetime, walked onto that court knowing she was not at full strength. She knew she was compromised. She knew the odds were stacked against her. But she played anyway. Why? Because she did not want to disappoint her fans. Because she felt a responsibility to show up. Because she has been conditioned to believe that the show must go on, no matter what personal hell she might be experiencing behind the scenes. This revelation completely reframes the entire narrative of the match. What looked to the untrained like a bad performance, what critics dismissed as a mental breakdown or poor preparation, was actually one of the most courageous displays of heart and determination we have ever seen in professional tennis. Eala was not playing to win that match. She was playing to survive it. She was playing to honor her commitment to the fans who adore her, while simultaneously battling a silent crisis that was tearing her apart from the inside. Think about that for a second. While we were all sitting comfortably in our homes or in the stadium seats, criticizing her backhand or questioning her shot selection, Alex was out there fighting a war on two fronts. She was fighting her opponent across the net, and she was fighting whatever serious issue had invaded her life at the worst possible moment. Now comes the question that everyone is asking. What exactly is this serious issue that Riza mentioned? While the Eala camp has respectfully requested privacy regarding the specific medical or personal details, and we absolutely must honor that request, we can examine the timeline and the context to better understand the gravity of the situation. The life of a professional tennis player is a grind that the average person simply cannot comprehend. These athletes are not just playing tennis. They are running a business. They are managing their bodies like precision machines. They are dealing with constant travel, time zone changes, different court surfaces, varying weather conditions, sponsor obligations, media commitments, and the crushing weight of expectations. And Alex Eala, at her young age, is navigating all of this while also trying to maintain some semblance of a normal life. Just this year alone, Alex's schedule has been absolutely relentless. She started the season competing in Australia, where she faced not only tough opponents but also the controversy of court scheduling that saw thousands of Filipino fans locked out of her matches. From there, she traveled back home for the emotionally charged Philippine Women's Open, where the pressure of playing in front of her home crowd was intense. Then she jetted off to the Middle East for the grueling Abu Dhabi swing. That is an insane amount of travel, competition, and pressure compressed into just a few months. The physical toll of this lifestyle is immense. We are talking about potential injuries that players try to hide to avoid dropping in the rankings. We are talking about exhaustion that goes bone deep. We are talking about the wear and tear on joints, muscles, and tendons that comes from hitting thousands of balls per week on hard courts that offer no mercy to young bodies. But here is what makes Riza's statement so telling. She did not just say Alex was dealing with a physical issue. She specifically said that this situation prevented her from competing with a positive mindset. That language is crucial. That suggests something deeper than a twisted ankle or a sore shoulder. This speaks to the mental and emotional fortress that an elite athlete must maintain to compete at the highest level. Is it burnout? Is Alex experiencing the kind of mental exhaustion that has forced other young stars like Naomi Osaka and even the great Ash Barty to step away from the game? Is it a hidden injury that the team tried desperately to manage quietly, afraid that revealing it would make her a target for opponents or cause her to plummet in the rankings? Or is it something even more personal? Could it be a family matter, a health scare involving a loved one, or some other crisis that they have managed to shield from the relentless scrutiny of the media? Riza's tears provide a powerful clue. Parents of professional athletes do not break down on national television over minor setbacks. They do not issue tearful public apologies because their daughter lost a tennis match. This was a mother watching her child suffer. This was a mother who had to stand helplessly in the player's box, watching her daughter try to be a superhero for an entire nation, all while knowing that her child was vulnerable, hurting, and fighting demons that nobody else could see. Think about the guilt that Riza must be feeling, the guilt that prompted that heartbreaking apology. As a parent, your most basic instinct is to protect your child from harm. But in professional sports, sometimes you cannot protect them. Sometimes the demands of the career, the expectations of the sponsors, the hopes of the fans, they all create a situation where your child has to go out there and perform even when every fiber of your being is screaming at you to pull them off that court and take them home. Riza feels responsible for the fans' disappointment. She feels like she failed them by not ensuring her daughter was at 100%. But more importantly, and more painfully, her heart is breaking for her daughter's silent struggle. It is a stark and sobering reminder that behind all the Wonder Woman headlines, behind the Nike sponsorship deals, behind the magazine covers and the social media posts celebrating her achievements, Alex Eala is still just a young woman. She is barely out of her teens. She is navigating a brutal, high-stakes world that chews up and spits out even the most talented athletes. And she is doing it while carrying expectations that would crush most adults. To truly grasp why this moment is so significant, why Riza's tears have resonated so deeply with millions of people, We need to examine the context of Eala's career and the unique pressure cooker environment she operates in every single day. Alex is not just another tennis player trying to make it on the WTA Tour. She is currently sitting at a career-high ranking. She is the golden girl of Asian tennis. She is a trailblazer, a barrier breaker, a symbol of hope for an entire nation that has been starving for tennis success on the global stage. Every time she steps onto a court, it is headline news in the Philippines. Every victory is celebrated like a national holiday. And every loss, no matter how understandable or expected it might be in the normal course of a tennis career, is treated like a national tragedy. We witnessed this intense pressure just recently at the Australian Open. Remember the massive controversy that erupted? Thousands of Filipino fans were locked out of Court 13, unable to watch their hero compete. The hashtag Eala Nation trended worldwide. There were demands for her to be moved to a show court. There were accusations of discrimination and disrespect. The entire situation became an international incident, and at the center of it all was a teenager trying to focus on playing tennis. That is an absolutely insane amount of pressure for anyone to handle, let alone someone who is still in the early stages of their professional career. Alex is not just playing for herself. She is not just trying to improve her ranking or earn prize money. She is playing for representation. She is playing for every young Filipino who dreams of making it in a sport that has traditionally been dominated by players from wealthier nations with better training facilities and more established tennis infrastructure. She is playing to prove that Filipino athletes belong on the biggest stages in the world. And to her credit, Alex has handled this crushing weight with remarkable grace and maturity. She speaks eloquently in interviews, carefully choosing her words to inspire without creating unrealistic expectations. She actively warns her fans about fake news and misinformation. She signs every autograph, poses for every photo, and makes time for every media obligation. She understands that she is more than an athlete. She is a role model, an ambassador, and a symbol. But today, the dam finally broke. Today, we saw what happens when the pressure becomes too much, when the human being underneath the athlete can no longer maintain the facade of invincibility. Riz's emotional outburst is the release valve for months, possibly years, of accumulated stress and pressure. It is the realization that they cannot always be perfect. It is the admission that sometimes, despite their best efforts, despite all the training and preparation and sacrifice, the human being breaks down. The phrase that keeps echoing in my mind is unable to hold back her tears. This is significant because the Eala family is known throughout the tennis world for their discipline and professionalism. Mike and Riza Eala have built a support system around their daughter that is the envy of many tennis families. They have done everything right. They moved to Europe to give Alex access to better training. They have managed her schedule carefully. They have protected her from the worst excesses of the tennis parent stereotype. For the armor to crack like this, for Riza to break down so completely in such a public setting, the situation behind the scenes must be incredibly intense and serious. This moment signals that we may be entering a new and critical phase of Alex Eala's career. This is the phase where the physical and mental management of the athlete becomes just as important, if not more important, than the technical development of the forehand and backhand. This is where the team around Alex needs to take a hard look at the schedule, at the expectations, and at the toll this lifestyle is taking on a young woman who is still developing, still growing, still learning who she is as a person. The reaction to this breaking news has been instantaneous and absolutely overwhelming. The shift in public sentiment has been dramatic and, frankly, quite beautiful to witness. Just minutes before Riz's tearful revelation, tennis forums and social media platforms were filled with harsh criticism and armchair analysis. Fans were dissecting Alex's serve percentage. They were questioning her shot selection. They were comparing her unfavorably to other young players. The comments were brutal, as they often are in the immediate aftermath of a disappointing loss. But now, the tone has shifted 180 degrees. Social media is being flooded with messages of support, love, and solidarity. The hashtag WeStandWithAlex is trending across multiple platforms. Fans who were frustrated and angry about the loss just hours ago are now expressing deep guilt and regret for their initial reactions. One of the top comments that has been shared thousands of times reads, "I had absolutely no idea what she was going through. I was so frustrated watching that match, shouting at my screen, questioning everything. But now I just want to reach through this screen and give her the biggest hug. Alex, we are so sorry. We should have known something was wrong." Another emotional message that has resonated with many people states, "Riza, please do not apologize to us. You and your husband raised an absolute warrior." The fact that Alex even stepped onto that court while dealing with this serious issue proves how much she loves and respects her fans. We do not deserve someone as dedicated and brave as her. We should be apologizing to you for the pressure we put on your family. We will be monitoring this situation minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. As soon as any new information emerges about the nature of this serious issue, as soon as we receive any updates on Alex's health and recovery timeline, as soon as there is any official statement from the Eala camp or her management team, we will bring that information to you immediately. Court Vision Plus will be your source for accurate, respectful, comprehensive coverage of this developing story. But right now, in this moment, I want to hear from you. I want this comment section to become a virtual embrace for the Eala family. What is your message to Alex and Riza right now? Are you shocked by this revelation? Did you suspect something was wrong during the match, or did this news blindside you completely? Do you think Alex should take an extended break from the tour to fully recover and recharge, or do you believe she should try to push through and maintain her momentum on the rankings? More importantly, what does this story teach us about how we treat our sports heroes? Are we too quick to criticize? Do we forget that these athletes are human beings with lives and problems that extend beyond the court? How can we, as fans, create a culture that celebrates excellence while also showing compassion for struggle? Leave your messages of support in the comments below. Let's flood this section with the famous Filipino spirit of bayanihan, of coming together to lift up those who are struggling. Let's show Alex and Riza and the entire Eala family that they are not alone in this fight, that they have millions of people around the world standing with them, praying for them, believing in them. If you want to stay updated on this developing story and continue to support independent, in-depth sports journalism that goes beyond the surface-level highlights and actually examines the human stories behind the athletes, please hit that like button right now. That simple action helps the algorithm push this video to more people who need to see it, who need to understand what really happened, who need to adjust their perspective on what they witnessed during that match. Subscribe to Court Vision Plus and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a breaking update. We are committed to bringing you the truth, the whole story, the context that mainstream sports media often ignores in their rush to judgment. We are praying for Alex Eala. We are standing with the Eala family during this incredibly difficult time. We are sending them strength, love, and the reassurance that millions of people around the world understand, support, and will wait patiently for her return. And we will see you in the next video, where hopefully we will have better news to share, where perhaps we will be celebrating the beginning of Alex's recovery and comeback. Until then, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and remember that everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. This is Court Vision Plus, signing off.